If you want 2025 to be your most profitable, most balanced, and most fulfilling year yet, and you're tired of setting goals that just don't seem to stick, I'm inviting you today on a little one-on-one strategy session where I'm going to be teaching you a no-fluff way to set goals for your business this year. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to the Power in Purpose podcast. It's your host, Candice. Today, I am leading you through a little bit of a workshop on setting goals for your business this year. If you haven't set goals yet, you're in the right place. And even if you have set goals for your business, if you got your power sheets and you sat down January 1 and you were all in, I love that for you. I have years like that. And then I have years not like that. But I love that for you. You're still in the right place because today's workshop might unlock another great idea, or it might even help you get more clear on the goals that you've set. So this episode is for everybody, whether you've set goals or not. And I'm walking you through my method of setting goals for the year. I think you're going to enjoy what I have to share with you. And we've been kind of building up until this point. When I look back at some of our episodes that we've released, some of the new episodes that we've released over the last month or so, our last episode, Inputs versus Outputs, if you haven't listened to that episode, go back. I have to be honest, I'm kind of obsessed with it. And I'm the one who recorded it and put it together. But I'm kind of obsessed with this, and I'm getting even more serious about my inputs this year. Just last night, I started creating some rules on my phone for social media, only giving myself 1 hour every day to be on social media because I genuinely feel like I am wasting so much valuable time rotting and doing nothing on social media. So if you haven't listened to that episode, I invite you to go back and check it out today. If you have, I want you to keep this notion of inputs affecting outputs in mind as you set goals for this year, okay? And then prior to that, we did a wedding season debrief. I shared with you my method for debriefing your wedding season. I asked you a ton of questions. I gave you a lot to consider. And that debrief really helps you understand how 2024 went. And I think it just sets you up so beautifully to set targeted, clear goals for your business this year. We've just been building this great momentum here on the podcast. And today, I'm excited to help you cast a vision for your business's future this year. I want you to imagine for a second, we're at the end of this year. And you're looking back at the year you've had in business, and you can say confidently, this year, 2025, was fulfilling for you. You worked with beautiful, appreciative, nice humans in your business. You had great clients who just were totally on your level. You made money in your business, and maybe you paid yourself well this year. But most importantly, your business feels super aligned to who you are as a person, who you are becoming as a business owner, and it's giving back to your meaningful life. You are living out your purpose. You feel 80% good about the work that you do on a daily basis, which to me is like an A+. I never think we can get to 100. 80 is always the benchmark for me. And that means that you're taking the good with a little bit of bad, but you did the things that you set out to accomplish, and your business feels better than ever. Instead of feeling burnt out, tired, hating life, taking a month off, crashing and burning, can't even open your inbox, wondering how your beautiful business that you were so excited to start ended up this way. I don't want that for you. That's why I'm walking you through my strategy session that I have used for many years in my business. And it's also something that for the last 3 years, or 2 years, I should say, I've been teaching inside Wedding Pro Insiders. We have a goal setting retreat every January. This is our 3rd year, and I'm mixing some things up for the ladies, which I'm excited to share with you maybe later on this year or at the beginning of 2026. I want to see how switching up this workshop, how it affects the results these ladies get. But what I'm teaching you today is something that I've taught the women in my high-level mastermind for many years walking them through this goal setting exercise, and this really works. And not only that, but I think it gives you the freedom to explore more than just achievement goals. And so let's dig in. Let's get into this powerful strategy session. I do want to mention that you should grab a notebook, grab a pen, open up a doc, whatever your flavor is, whatever flavor you love here, and be prepared to take some notes and even pause this episode and do the work alongside what I'm sharing with you, what I'm teaching you, if you are present and able to do that. Otherwise, come back to this and feel free to take this like you would take a workshop with me. Now, let's do a brief overview of today's episode so that you can kind of understand where I'm going to guide you. First, I'm going to help you think about the big picture, your big picture vision for 2025. Next, I'm going to help you break this down into some 90-day chunks. And then I'm going to help you zero in and zoom in on the remaining weeks of Q1 engagement season, but also an important quarter of the year. It's where we find our sea legs for this year. And I think we plant seeds that hopefully we can harvest mid-year or as soon as possible, and how to hold yourself accountable to your goals this year. Let's start off with vision casting. Vision casting is so important. It's an exercise that I've taught you here on the podcast, and we've talked about it many times for many different reasons. In order for your business to grow in a direction that's aligned with who you are as a business owner and what you value most, what your values are, you need to have vision, and you need to make space to create a vision for your company. Leaders understand vision, and I can guarantee you that the entrepreneurs that you follow, that you look up to, who you feel like always do what they say and seem to effortlessly, and I'm putting that in air quotes if you're listening and not watching on YouTube, effortlessly make things happen. It's not effortless. It is because they start with a vision and they understand where they're going. We need to get you out of drift mode and get you into design mode. Drift mode is when you are just drifting around, not really sure of your direction, not sure what you want. Design mode in your business is when you are very clear about where you're heading. If it is just where you're heading this quarter, where you're heading this year, or long-term vision, if you can cast a vision that far out. We need to know what your future is going to look like, and then we can reverse engineer how we're going to get there. Now, there are 3 big questions I want you to ask yourself as you vision cast. The first is, what kind of clients do I want to work with? This is an important question because your business exists to serve people, aka your clients, and it's important that you are clear on the customers you want to work with. Next, how much money do you want to make? What is the number that is going to support your goals, your financial goals, and make running a business, owning a business, all this time, all this effort worth it? What is that magic number that's going to make you put your feet on the ground and say, girl, let's do this. I can't wait to get to my computer. And what do you want your business to feel like? What do you want each day in your business to feel like? Do you want it to feel light and airy and easy? Do you want it to feel motivating and challenging, but not bad challenging, good challenging? Do you want it to feel creative and expansive? What do you want your business to feel like? It doesn't have to feel hard. It doesn't have to always be messy, unorganized. You don't always have to feel like you're not quite getting where you want to go. You don't always have to feel scarce and bad about the work you're doing or that you're not measuring up. These are all feelings that I've personally had in my business over the years. So I speak from experience, but it's also what I've noticed many entrepreneurs feel. Contrary to what you might believe, business doesn't have to feel hard and things don't have to feel icky or bad. And instead, they can feel the way you want them to. But unless you get clear on your vision and how you want your business to feel, you can't reverse engineer this positive vibe that you crave in your business. So we need to get clear on that. I also would love for you to do a quick visualization exercise. Again, imagining that it's December of 2025, and I want you to think about what you will be celebrating at the end of this year. What are the things that you have accomplished? Significant achievements? Maybe you've grown your team or you've hit a certain revenue benchmark that you've been striving for. Maybe you booked a very specific wedding style or a client with a specific budget. Maybe you became an expert in a certain skill that's related to your business, but also some smaller things. Maybe you got over your imposter syndrome, which actually isn't a small thing, that's pretty huge. Maybe you stopped paying attention to what everyone was doing and you focused more on what you want to do and how you want to lead. Maybe you stuck to a work schedule or you made time for self-care, things that you enjoy doing. You created a hobby for yourself or you spent more time with friends and family. I want you to think about what you've accomplished at the end of this year, and that can really help you focus on what types of goals you should be setting in order to make all of what you've shared a reality. I love the website futureme.org. This was shared with me by Cindy, who is a beloved former mentee of mine. She was a member of Wedding Pro Insiders for many years. And I distinctly remember Cindy sharing this with me. It's a website where you can write a letter to yourself and have it sent to you in the future. And I challenge you to sit down as a part of this strategy session and write a letter to yourself, have it delivered some point in December of 2025, and share with yourself all the things that you're proud of that you accomplished. This is a bit of manifestation. It's a bit of willing certain things in your life into existence. And believe it or not, it kind of works. It definitely helps you get super clear on where you're going, and it will get you out of drift mode and into design mode. Now, I'm a huge believer that the only thing that stands between you and the business you want is, unfortunately, you. I know this kind of sucks, but you are the bottleneck in your business. You are often your own worst enemy in a lot of ways. If you crave acceleration and growth and more alignment in your business, then you, my friend, need to start doing the work to make that happen for your business. You have to become the business owner that your business needs. You have to become the leader that your team needs, the leader that your clients need, and quite frankly, if I'm being honest, the leader that our industry needs. Our industry needs more heartfelt, heart-led, value-led, strong leaders who want to grow our community, who want to give back to the wedding industry, who want to lead by example with their clients, and who have successful, sustainable businesses. We need some role models. And I would love for you to become one, not because it's a goal of yours, but because you lead by example. So you are the biggest bottleneck in your business. And in order for your business to grow this year, there are probably some things that you need to combat, some mindset things, some shifts you need to make in order to become the business owner that your business needs. Once we have casted a vision for the future and we've thought through what you want to achieve, you've answered the 3 big questions. What kind of clients do you want to work with? How much money do you want to make? And what do you want your business to feel like? And you've gotten clear on who you need to become in order to make this all happen. I would love for you to start setting goals. And for me, whenever I'm goal setting at the beginning of a year, I like to look out 3 years and then this year, and then even break it down into 90-day chunks. So I have my future vision, a long-term vision, which changes, but I have it in my mind. I understand where we're going. Then I have this year's vision and even quarterly visions for myself to actually make things happen. With that said, we need to talk about what big goals will help you get to the vision that you've casted for your business and that long-term 3-year vision. What projects, what initiatives, what relationships or ideas do you need to pay attention to this year in order to get to your 3-year vision? For instance, if you want to make $1 million in your business, and I'm just throwing this out there, just throwing this number out there because the $1 million mark feels unachievable for a lot of people, myself included. And by million, I mean million in 1 year. Not million total, but million in 1 year. If that's something that you want to do and you want to do that in the next 3 years, there are some things that you need to be focusing on in order to hit that $1 million mark. You might need to focus on your pricing. You might need to focus on team growth, revenue diversification, getting very clear on what works in your business and what makes the most money, and then doubling down on those things, tripling down, putting all your chips into the things that are actually bringing in revenue that can get you into the $1 million mark. You need to understand, what is it going to take to achieve my long-term goals? And then also, what do I need to be focusing on right now for some of my short-term goals or this year goals? Sometimes when we see how much it really takes to hit our goals, we also see how realistic it is. And I believe that goals should push you and stretch you, but they need to be rooted in reality, And there are some people who can absolutely go from 0 to $1 million in 1 year. I mean, it's not like it can't happen, but a good indication of future behavior is past. And I must credit that to Dr. Phil. I got to give him credit because that's where I heard it from. A good indication of future behavior is past. And if in the past you have not gotten even close to 6 figures, you may find it very challenging to make $1 million happen for yourself. So your goals need to be rooted in reality. And you also need to understand how realistic you're being in your timelines, in your time frames, and also what's going to be required of you. Because it's great to sit down and set goals, but until we start to understand what's going to be required of us, that's when reality hits and we have to make some choices about where we're going to spend our time, where we're going to focus, and how we're going to get there. With that said, I do believe that goals need to be challenging, but they don't need to always be hard. Here's a mistake that I've made. Maybe you've made this too, where I make goals that are hard. It's not that I can't do them, but it's not always fun and it's not always really easy. And I believed for a long time that goals need to be regimented and it needs to be hard and it's not always going to be fun. And I just have to push myself through it. And then I realized that the reason why I don't achieve these things is because I really don't want to do it. I really am not motivated. I believe that this is what I should be doing and this is what I see other people doing, but is it something I really want? And is it fun? I would also challenge you to make sure that your goals for this year are things that you're going to have fun achieving. Because if you enjoy it and if it's fun for you, then you're going to pay attention to it and you're going to do it. Now, with that said, let's also talk about something fun. What's something fun that you want to achieve over the next 12 months? What's something that would be so fun for you to do? Do you want to get published? Do you want to go to a certain in-person event? Do you want to travel somewhere, do a destination wedding? Do you want to have a launch party for something? Do you want to rebrand? Do you want to join a community? Is there something fun that you can do within your business that you're motivated by, and the process of doing it, and of course the results, all is really appealing to you? It sounds like so much fun to achieve. Make sure you set a fun goal for yourself this year in your business, and I would challenge you to try to make sure all of your goals are fun. Now, we have to break this down into some 90-day chunks. Once you've cast your vision and you've set some goals that are going to get you closer to that vision, I think we have to narrow our focus down and take some of these goals and assign them to different quarters of the year. I do most business planning in quarters. I've shared with you here how to create a quarterly marketing plan. I have shared with you here how to goal set in quarters. And today we're taking your big vision and we're applying it to the quarters of the year. Quarters are great because they are long enough where you can achieve something of significance, but they're short enough to light a fire under your ass and get you going. When I look at past goal setting exercises that I've done for myself many years ago, it's exciting to sit down and cast a vision for the year and set goals, but then we're like, okay, I did that. That's so fun. Okay, let me get into my January workflow. And then those goals, they just kind of disappear. And it's in a notebook somewhere and you're don't know where you put the notebook. The notebook makes its way from your desk over to a corner and then it gets shuffled into a cabinet. And 3 years later, you're opening up the cabinet and you're like, oh, here are those goals I wrote for 2025. I don't want that to happen to you because I know that you're craving to make some kind of change in your business. It doesn't need to be radical, but something. So with that said, we're going to take your goals and we're going to apply them into 90-day chunks. 90-day goal setting is a game changer. You're going to take this big vision. You're going to look at the quarters of the year. You're going to look at your capacity to get things done. You're going to look at when you're busy during your wedding season. You're going to look at how your goals might align naturally with the rhythms and routines of your year, including when you're busy, when you're free, when you have lots of clients and weddings and you're in production mode, when things are quieter for you. You're going to take a look at the year and you're going to start assigning goals and projects and things that you want to hit to quarters. And what's so beautiful about this is that it gives you structure. And it gives you a sense of purpose for each quarter of what you're going to be focused on. And it also alleviates pressure to get it all done right now, or to feel like you have to keep your eye on all these balls right now and for the whole year. And instead, you can say, okay, well, I'm going to make ramping up my marketing a priority for Q1 and Q2. In Q3 and 4 of this year, I'm going to focus getting published. I'm going to focus on getting published because I have all these incredible weddings this year and the content is publishable. I just know the designs or the work that I'm going to do is like A+, and that's going to be my time for focusing on press and PR. You can begin to slot in your goals based on the time of year and all these different variables that we probably don't consider often enough when we're setting goals and then we're trying to achieve things. I'm such a big fan of 90-day chunks. Such a big fan. And I would challenge you to make 2025 the year where you do things in quarters, specifically sales goals, financial goals. Those are kind of the same thing. Your goal setting, marketing, and team collaboration and just team building in your business. Those would be things that I would challenge you to focus on quarterly, set goals and benchmarks, and come up with plans and strategies so that you can adjust them throughout the year. Now that we've thought through the year, we've thought through the quarters, let's take a look at where we're at right now in Q1. Q1 is an important quarter of the year. It's where a lot of sales are made, but I'm going to share something with you. Not all sales are made this quarter, and not everybody's Q1 is a big sales quarter. It depends on where you're located, what you do in the industry, and where clients are in the planning process right now. For many wedding pros, Q1 isn't necessarily a high volume sales quarter, but we can all agree that Q1 is where we plant the seeds for sales throughout the year. Whether the volume of sales is coming to you this quarter or Q3 is your max quarter where you make the most, it's what you do in this quarter as engagement season continues up until Valentine's Day and beyond. It's what you do in this quarter that plants significant seeds for your marketing, for your sales, for your revenue, for the clients that you want to attract. And a new year is a blank slate, and it is an opportunity to get serious about the things that matter for you and get aligned to the right things. Love a Q1. Love a Q1. Now, Q1 at this stage is, we're about a third into it. We still have plenty of time, so don't freak out. 2 months is plenty of time. Here's what I would love for you to focus on this quarter, regardless of what some of your goals might be. Okay. I want you to make sure that your website and your pricing is up to date. Couples are booking now, and more and more and more I am seeing on threads, couples that are engaged and they are like, where's the pricing on your website? Why aren't you telling me the pricing on your website? I've done a whole episode on pricing on your website, telling you whether or not I think your pricing should be on your website. For most wedding pros, you should list a price. There are just a few extenuating circumstances where I would say it might make sense to hold off, but in this matter, trust your gut. I'm telling you right now, Gen Z clients want to see your price, and they think that if you're not sharing your price, you've got something to hide. And that's probably not true, but you don't want that mistrust in the sales process to start before they've even contacted you. Well, you don't want mistrust at all. So you need to be refreshing your website with your latest work, making sure that you're updating things that are out of date, make sure your messaging is aligned, make sure your pricing is updated. I also want you to do a very quick audit this quarter of your inquiry and booking process. Speed matters. Unfortunately, it goes against how we want to balance and not feel like we need to respond to your inquiries right away. But usually the first person who responds is the first person who books, unfortunately. Speed matters here. You need to be quick with it. And you also just need to make sure that your inquiry and booking process is easy for people and that it's not outdated and hard, which I think some wedding pros are struggling with bookings because your sales process sucks. No offense, but it's just the truth. I also want you to make sure that you're setting your business up for visibility, whether it's social media, networking, SEO. This is where you need to plant the seeds to be visible. Now, my shop has a ton of resources that can get you up and running fast, especially if you're a wedding planner. I have an onboarding process that you can purchase. I have Canva templates that you can use, pricing templates, Instagram templates. It's all there for you in case you want it. Now, let's talk about holding yourself accountable throughout the year and making sure that the goals that you set during the strategy session actually become a reality. Everyone works a little bit differently, so I have a few ideas and a few suggestions, okay? First, I love having a word of the year. I think it helps. It's your compass. It helps to keep you focused, and it helps you to put to your mind the thing that matters most to you. A word of the year, a phrase. I live and die by that. I think it's great, and I would encourage you to have one. My word of the year is time, and I'll explain that in another episode. But that's my word of the year. It's time, and I have so many reasons why I chose that word of the year. So many. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you see me smiling right now because that word is so aligned with where I'm at, and it is dictating almost every decision I make personally and professionally. I love a Post-it note, love a Post-it note. You might remember from way back, I taught a podcast episode on how to set goals using Post-its. I think it was like episode 10. So if you want to go to a blast in the past, go listen to it. But I love Post-it notes. If writing in a notebook or in a Word doc really doesn't help you feel connected to your goals, do yourself a favor, get some Post-it notes and start putting ideas up on a wall, group them together, create a system for yourself where you can visually see how you want this year to be for yourself and what it is you want to achieve or focus on. I also think having a weekly CEO date with yourself is required this year. You need to check in with yourself every single week and make sure that you're on track. You need to take a look at your numbers, whether they're financial numbers, analytics, metrics for marketing, but also just to make sure that things are staying in alignment with what the goals that you've set for this year and the vision that you've casted. We don't do this often enough. And I think we all have great intentions of having a CEO day, and we put it on the calendar and it sounds cute, but we don't do it. Don't let this be the year where you keep making that mistake. Your business deserves 30 minutes each week of your undivided attention and focus. If you want me to talk more about how to create a CEO day or a CEO hour for yourself each week, let me know. DM me. You can email us at support@CandiceCoppola.com as well. Sound off. Let me know, and we can put something together to talk through this more. But don't let this be the year where you say you're going to do it and you don't. Finally, I really want you to get yourself in community. Whether it's one of my communities like Wedding Pro Insiders or the Planner's Playbook, or it's another community that feels aligned to where you're at right now, get yourself in community. A local networking group, a networking group that has nothing to do with weddings to give you a different perspective. Start a peer-led mastermind of folks that you know, like, and trust. Bring the group chat together on a Zoom call. Just don't make it a bitching session. Make it productive. Get yourself in community and get yourself outside of social media for your community. Don't just rely on the conversations you have there, the likes, the DMs. Get outside of that and get yourself community. Community is important. Community is going to hold you accountable. It's going to inspire you. You are, through the help of your community, going to find that you get to where you're going much faster. Plus, you know that I believe you shouldn't have to do business alone. So either create a community for yourself, join a community, but get yourself amongst people who think differently than you, who might even be smarter than you, which is you always want to be not the least smartest person, but you always want to be challenged. You know, you want somebody in the room who's going to challenge you, and just get yourself surrounded by people who might even be heading in the same direction as you, and you guys can work together to get where you're going. I would love it if you would send me a DM of some of your goals this year. Let me know what you're working on. I'm really curious to hear, and I would love to know because it will help me shape the content that we create here. And you never know, I might offer a free training or some kind of webinar where I'm supporting you in some of your goals this year. I would just love to hear from you. I want you to know that your best year isn't going to happen by accident, but it's because of the strategy and the time and the vision that you cast today. Good luck. And you know that I'll be here all year long supporting you, challenging you to think differently, and sharing strategies that will help you to get to where you're going. I'm excited to hear your goals, and I can't wait to support you in them on the podcast this year. We have some really fun things happening on the show. Our Behind the Brand is a huge hit, so that's staying all year long. And I have something new that I'm really excited to share, but I will wait until that episode goes live to reveal. Okay, friend, thanks for tuning in today and inviting me along on your goal setting journey. I hope that this strategy session has been helpful. Goal setting doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be very simple and easy. Once you know your vision, then you know the goals that you should be setting. All right, friend, I'm here to remind you there's so much power in your purpose. I'll see you next time.